All right, so there we go. All right, so we're getting some geographical locations here. See where we're all at. Great, so all around the Baltic Sea region. Let's move on then to the program. Initially, we will have an introduction to the BeUBio project that organizes this webinar, followed by a panel discussion with youth entrepreneurs. We have a couple of companies here that we will listen to and get insights from. This will be complemented with reflections from a municipality perspective and then also from entrepreneurship education. Following that, we will have an open discussion and then we'll summarize with some key messages from panelists. It said in the invitation, or I think we've communicated two different scenarios. We have a 90-minute webinar, but then when you register, it said 2 hours, which is wrong. So the plan is to go for 90 minutes, but we have up to 2 hours if someone wants to hang around and there are following discussions, so that's fine as well. So we have some rules for this session. So remember to keep muted or stay muted when not talking so that we don't get the background noise and so on. And then if you have questions as we go along, then write them in the chat or raise your hand and we'll keep track of that and invite you when it's time to answer questions.
I'm not in the...
And if you don't know how to raise your hand, then you should be able to do that in the toolbar on the bottom of the screen or on your profile. Otherwise, just write in the chat and we'll make sure that you're heard. I already informed that the session will be recorded and we planned for 90 minutes. If discussions are dynamic and you want to tag along for longer, then we have up till 2 hours. Great. So before handing off over to Alberto, we just wanted to see a little bit what you're looking forward to in this webinar. So what brought you here? What interests you in this layout of this webinar? So please share in Menti. I'll give you some time to think that through. Great, yes, to hear inspiring stories and some stories of young entrepreneurs. And I think we'll have some really great inspiration today for you. Hopefully also the discussions that we'll have afterwards and also hopefully we'll be able to engage most of you will be inspiring as well. Yes, potential partners and contacts in Nordic countries. Great, so keep track of who's on the participant list and so on, and also let know in the chat perhaps, or you can send private messages in the chat also to other participants if you want to connect. Great, so you can keep filling this out. It'll be on in the background, and then we'll move over to Alberto. Great. So I'll hand over to you, Alberto.
Thank you, Daniel, and welcome everyone from my side as well. It's really been quite a nice journey already for 2 years through the Biobio Project that we have been trying to find lots of inspiration from young people and people working around youth engagement. So we are here back to bring some of these findings and hopefully to share some of our learnings. and today is less about sharing learnings as to create a discussion. So hopefully also every one of you in the audience will be engaged and also willing to share some of your thoughts and experiences. Today I'm wearing several hats, so to say. One as a young enthusiast myself, willing to do something to push the sustainable trend and the green transition. Also in representation of the BioBio Project, that is why we are here, and I will introduce it in more detail. But we are a consortium across the Nordic countries trying to, and the Baltic, all around the Baltic Sea region actually, to promote youth engagement across, around the circular economy and bioeconomy. And thirdly, also as a researcher from Nordregio. Nordregio is the research branch of the Nordic collaboration with the mission of delivering policy relevant research. So as of today, we see that every time more, maybe society and policy are in synchrony with the need to go towards a more sustainable economy and society and so on. But this, when it comes to put it in practice, seems extremely challenging. So in a way, that's why we are here today, with a diverse panel of people from different perspectives, but also with a very diverse audience. That we know that we need to get everyone involved in this transition for it to happen. And so in today's panel, we will have maybe some of the pieces of the puzzle. There is many more to add. So let's keep that in mind, that we will provide some of them, and we should think how to complement our views. And ideally, by the end of the day, we will have some inspiration and some more tools to come back and contribute to this green transition from whatever organization we all represent. So before I introduce the panel, I should introduce to you quickly the BeUBio project. So if you bear with me, I'm gonna share slides. Good. So, as already said, the theme of today is the same as the theme of the BioBio project. So it's about young people leading the way to a sustainable economy. And who are we? The aim is essentially to promote youth involvement across the Baltic Sea region for this transition, and to create synergies with other actors and initiatives supporting the Sustainable Development Goals. This is, for your knowledge, the consortium. We have the Nordic Council Minister's Office in Lithuania, the University of Applied Sciences in Finland, Estonian University of Life Science, the region of Kalmar. We have the Swedish Board of Agriculture, Juvenia University, and Vidzeme Planning Region, apart from Nordregio. And we have received some funding from the Swedish Institute. And we have had many activities, but one of these is this platform that we have created. And you can look it up on our website, where you can see in this map, it's with lots of pins across the Baltic Sea region, where we have collected stories from young people, entrepreneurs, but not only, also initiatives to support this green transition. So basically, we don't want to show that there is isolated cases, but more to look at the overall general trend. So I encourage you to go there and to look at this diversity of stories in article format or in story maps, easily accessible. But what I can shortly say is that these stories reveal really endless opportunities from a diversity of sectors. So we have seen people working with reusing textile materials so within fashion, we have seen a few different initiatives or companies working with solid cosmetics, with alternatives to leather materials, with how to reuse glass, how to reuse coffee grounds, for instance, to produce cosmetics, to produce even food out of coffee, and how to use also technology. We will hear more about one of these stories today, how to use digital technologies to improve circularity. And finally, even an incredibly interesting sector from algae, how to use algae for a variety of different uses. So today, I'm not going to elaborate on these stories. I encourage you to read them, and here's where you can find them in our website. But now I would like to instead introduce to the speakers of today. We have different perspectives. We have also different countries represented. So we have Ule and Marina. I apologize that I will not try to tell your surnames because I will do a fool of myself, but you will have the chance to introduce yourselves. Ule is a software developer and Marina, advisor of circular economy in Loopfront, a Norwegian company that aims at reducing construction sector wastes, offering companies ways of inventory, track, or reuse building materials. Then we'll have Jonas from Lithuania, CEO of Nando, a company supplying chemical substances and also advanced agricultural additives. It's interesting from this perspective, Jonas is responsible for the green transition in Nando and company by using microbial-based stimulants. Both this case is from a company perspective, young people working in these companies, and then we'll have Sarah, who represents instead the perspective of an authority, of a municipality. How can a municipality can support this sustainability and green transition, and also the engagement of young people, and more particularly from Matt Lust's initiative for fostering healthy and sustainable food industry in the Stockholm region. And last but not least, we have Mari from Finland. She's the project coordinator at the Junior Achievement Finland program, which is also part of the Junior Achievement Europe and World. That have a program for supporting entrepreneurship, education in schools, and creating, so to say, also these entrepreneurial attitudes within society. And she also works with other Baltic states and Nordic countries. So warm welcome to all of you. I won't be talking so much more. I would like to bring you to the floor. So I'll ask first Ule and Marina to come to the floor and maybe introduce yourselves a little personally again and what you do. And I know you want me to share a video, so I can do that for you when you're ready. So just welcome.
Thank you, Alberto. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry for my voice. I have a little bit of a cold, but I'll try my best. Yeah, my name is Ule. I've been with Loopfront since the start in 2018. Yeah, like you mentioned, I'm a software developer. So yeah, I've been in charge of the development of the platform since then.
Yeah, my name is Marina, and I'm a circular advisor at Loopfront. And I've been working in the company since 2019. And I started there through a course in architecture, which I'm currently studying at the Technical University in Trondheim, where I'm right now.
And you two work at Loopfront, so you can tell us a little bit more, or I can put the video whenever you want me to.
think the video shows most pretty simple, so I think it's a good place to start.
Yes. I hope you can see it. Right.
Used building materials end up in the landfill or are burned. Recycling is common for many products, but we rarely reuse materials from buildings. No matter the condition or quality, used building materials end up in the landfill or are burned. The building industry
We lost the sound there.
Yeah.
Yes, Albert.
necessary
Can you hear it now?
lacking.
Yeah.
Is a collaboration platform made to empower building owners and the
play it
construction
again?
industry, removing barriers for reuse. In the loop front, users can register materials and inventory in existing buildings or those planned for demolition. Technical information is easily gathered in one place, always accessible from all devices. Planning functions include logistics, such as demounting, transportation, and storage. And with a market function, you can reserve materials for reuse or make them available to other organizations. All circular activities are tracked, making reports on waste, emissions, and financial savings available at all times. Loopfront provides new solutions for circular activities, making reuse easy and profitable.
Great. Perfect. So now we are more informed about what Loopfront does, and as the video shows, you're offering digital solutions to improve basically the use and sharing of materials within the construction sector. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more, Ole and Marina, what really is the scale of the problem within the construction sector? How much is there being wasted, or what is the key environmental challenge? If you could elaborate on this.
Yeah, go ahead, Marina. I think you're better with the numbers than me.
Yeah, so in the EU, it's estimated that 10 million tons of interior is thrown every year, as well as 850 million tons of construction and demolition waste. Yeah, and meanwhile, EU regulation states that 70% of all building materials should be reused or recycled by 2020. According to the World Gap Report from 2021, the EU is on the 8.6% circular, so we're nowhere close to reaching that goal.
Yes, and of course it's difficult to like have a mental image of all these numbers, but I think it's somewhere around 40%, isn't that right, Marina, of
Yeah,
all the waste,
all the waste
in Europe comes from the building industry. So yeah, it's a lot.
And also 40% of CO2 emissions. So yeah, there's a huge potential to become more circular.
So far, you are a young company, but how far have you been able to jump into or disrupt the existing reality, the existing status quo? In maybe you can explain where you are based, who are you working with, which kind of companies, which kind of organizations?
Yeah, we're working with a vast number of municipalities in Norway, and also one in Sweden, and real estate companies, building owners. So we're helping them to get an overview of the materials they have available within their organizations so they can reuse them in their different building projects.
And you mentioned also that you work closer with municipalities, right?
Yeah.
So what is their role to play? Why is the need to work with municipalities?
Yeah, so municipalities, they own a lot of buildings and they also have environmental goals that they want to reach. So reuse is a really effective way of getting visible results for reuse. So, yeah.
And additionally, also like the public sector also often have some goals that they set for like how environmentally friendly they're going to be and how much reuse they want in their organization and stuff like that. And previously they didn't have any way to track that at all. And yeah, so that's also a reason why they want to work with us. And there's also some economic savings for them as well. Yeah.
So this is one of the key challenges companies and organizations have. They don't have a clear idea or vision of what is the material flow, where is their accident. So is this what you are trying to tackle, so to say?
Yeah, absolutely. And also trying to show how much waste they can save and CO2 that can be cut and stuff like that as well.
We have some questions as well on the chat. Maybe I have Vaida here will help me also bring some questions.
So the question comes from Santa Vitala. How easy is to reach potential customers and are private companies keen to join such networks that you're trying to create?
Yeah, we're also working with private companies, real estate companies. Yeah, so they don't necessarily have the same, what should I say, environmental goals that they have to reach. But I would say that it gives off a really positive message when a company is able to do circular projects. So yeah, we also have some private real estate companies that we work with.
And what are the attitudes in changing to participating in this from the companies? What usually do you face when you address the companies which deal with environmental waste? What the reactions you usually get from them from the beginning?
I would say it's mostly positive, but yeah, it's a huge change from the status quo, which has been buying new materials and throwing away the old ones. So yeah, you need to change your processes a bit, but I think there's a lot of potential savings in those processes as well.
I think we can definitely see a change from like in the beginning. Our customers weren't interested unless there were some economic savings for them. But now it's more and more that they also value the environmental aspect of it.
Interesting to say that you mentioned this changing in attitude, and maybe linking it to the youth perspective. As young people that you are, how have you been introduced to this sector, and how have you been facing this relationship with companies and clients? Is it welcoming? Has it taken some time to build a trust relation? Can you explain a little bit?
Yeah, from my perspective, because I study within the field of buildings and architecture, I would say it's a quite conservative sector. So yeah, I think you need to have some good examples of reuse projects to make people understand that it's possible. And yeah, I think our platform is a really good tool to go into those kind of projects.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I don't think the software development it's not so conservative, I think, but definitely there people want to do it their way, and yeah, when we as young people come here and say how we've done things and how we want to do things, of course sometimes people with a lot of experience might disagree, and sometimes they might be right as well, but I think it's important that we also have our voice.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. We will come back to you. I don't know if there's any immediate questions. Otherwise, we will fly over to the Baltic Sea towards Lithuania. So thanks, Ole and Marina. I will ask some more questions later on. So Jonas, if Jonas, you can join us the floor. And I quickly introduce Nando, your company, but maybe you can introduce yourself again and tell us a little bit more what you're doing.
Hello, everybody. I believe you hear me well. Yes. Nando has a couple of activity areas, and the one which we are focusing the most is advanced agro additives. So we develop new technologies, products, and supply them to the market, and currently export to 12 different markets. So what are these products? The most prominent and the most significant group of products is microbiological soil additives. So the microbes really living in the soil, they are taken, selected the most effective ones, natural microbes, not genetically modified, etc. And then they are duplicated, grown similarly as, for example, in beer production, in fermenter, and you have high concentration of beneficial bacteria, probiotics, similarly as for somebody applied for stomach, for a person to get better activity of your health. So the same goes for the soil, and we produce these in fermenters, and we have high concentration of soil bacteria, which are later on applied on the soil for professional farming. And this is a very significant technology, which is not very new. It's known for more than 100 years, but only in recent years, in a couple of years, it becomes as a mainstream. As it used to be only very narrowly used technology, now it becomes mainstream, and we are in the center of this transaction with all Green Deal stuff, with fertilizers reduction, with pesticides reduction, and this technology, natural environment-based bacteria are helping to reduce the uptake of, reduce the usage of fertilizers, of pesticides, of all artificially produced chemical ingredients, which actually destroys the soils for more than 50, 60 years already. So we have to recreate what we have, the damage which was done in so many years.
Very interesting. Maybe if we give a step back, could you explain for a maybe not expert audience, what is the scale of the problem? I mean, what is the ecological issue that we're talking about? What's the scale of it?
So agricultural as sector is one of the biggest polluters of and CO2 emissions creators of all sectors, together with transport and manufacturing. and the most significant damage is done for soils, because soils are degrading, and degrading soils means that that you need to use fertilizers and pesticides more and more, and your yields, the things you harvesting are getting down. So we are kind of reached the peak with current technologies, what we can in Europe get out of the soils. For example, wheat's production in Europe has been increased since 1993 almost every single year. So we are twice as much per hectare as it used to be like 30 years ago, but we are in absolute peak, and with very high cost, with soil degradation, with top layer of the soil being destroyed. Like every single year, the area of soil similar to Berlin, with all suburbs, are destroyed due to intensive agricultural activities. So this is the size of the problem, and especially phosphates and nitrates, phosphorus and nitrogen fertilizers are really damaging natural water resources. And Baltic Sea is one of the most, as we are from all from around the Baltic Sea. Baltic Sea is one of the most polluted seas in worldwide, and most of this pollution comes from agricultural fertilizers. So you simply phosphorus, for example, only 20% of phosphorus fertilizers are used by plants. All the rest are lost, and usually goes to the groundwaters, to the water, and via rivers. With waters, we finally come to the Baltic Sea, and we got what we got. So this is really important to increase the efficiency of fertilizers used, and to decrease overall amounts of these fertilizers and pesticides.
Right. So what you're saying is that with these alternatives, that, or it's not exactly an alternative what you're proposing, but simply is to improve the uptake of fertilizers. Is that correct?
This is our main target and the main selling point. That's why 99% of our sales comes from intensive farming. We are not focusing to ecological farming, because even though these products suits for ecological farming, the selling point is not so big. The selling point for intensive farming, which is like the majority one, is much more interesting, both from ecological standpoint, but mostly from economical standpoint. Yeah. And the new layer, so it's ecological, economical. You save your expenses on the mineral fertilizers, which prices have increased, especially in last year, significantly. Like traditional phosphorus fertilizers, the price of it increased for 50%. So farmers are really searching for alternatives. And the third layer on everything was the Green Deal, which was confirmed by European Commission, which basically requires for every European Union member state to create a plan how each single state will decrease the usage of fertilizers and pesticides until 2030. And every country creates specific plan, and it's usually at least 10% of reduction of mineral fertilizers. So it's from legal, from economical, and from ecological perspective. All three layers of push are made to make this transition, and we are working on that.
In this case, policy has played a very important role in pushing this transition.
Yes, so it's kind of it's two ways. It's a beneficial way from the Green Deal perspective and from regulatory perspective. So it's really beneficial. On the other hand, European bureaucracy is well known for some stubbornness. So we have also kind of the new regulation, which is upcoming next year regarding all the fertilizers, actually is not very clear, and everybody is looking how it will end up. And yeah, it's not everything rainbows and chocolate. You have also some bureaucratic stubbornness, which is not seen in any single other continent worldwide, including USA and other developed countries. So we are both the sector we are working on, we are promoted, but also kind of slowed down due to the registrations, regulations, inspections, etc., which is the highest and most difficult worldwide.
So there is both pros and cons from the policy perspective. But just to finalize, if you can explain more or less what is the scale of your transition, and you have explained the scale of the problem, but how fast is this sector, this new kind of product growing in your company, and how do you see it in the overall perspective? How fast will this replace, to some extent, the market?
We are a small and medium enterprise, like small, more to say more precise. So we are really small in terms of our turnover and our impact overall, but we are growing, especially in this segment. So as I said, currently we are doing export to 12 markets, and our growth is around 200% every year. So at the moment, around 100,000 hectares are covered one way or another with our products and by final farmers, by final users, especially these biostimulant products. So, but we are growing, and with Europe Commission new regulation, which is like not new, it's the trend which is going on for many years. More and more active ingredients of pesticides are taken out of the available list of active ingredients of, for example, pesticides. So big players as Syngenta, Bayer, Corteva, the names maybe you hear, BASF, all of them are also going into this direction. So, for example, for pest control, fungus control, like the things which destroy your harvest, they are also implementing and introducing biological solutions, which is absolutely the new trend. So the market transition goes from two directions: from small businesses, we are like fast going, more innovative, wider approach, and these elephants, which are also going the same direction, and mostly because we are forced simply to do that. It's not highly the motivation comes basically from the existence. We have to exist. The sales have to exist. So we have to keep the market, and we are going to biological solutions.
Very interesting. And finally, before we move to the next speaker, the connection to youth. You're a young CEO. What brought you to this journey, and how was your so to say way? Did you encounter any challenges? Have you simply encountered a lot of opportunities? Can you elaborate?
So my transition to the current roles is there was a couple of major steps and major decisions which I made quite early in my career, which really helped. So to understand that your education is not the primarily factor on which depends your career, I have to say that I finished political science. So it's far from biotechnology, which I am currently in. But overall, the best decision I made in my early age was to join youth NGO organizations. and I have actively participated in their activities since I was like 14, 15 years old. And it involves me in many projects, activities, cooperations, and based on that, I started my career as a business consultant. And my current company, like the founders of it, they're my clients, like already 12 years ago. Then I was 18 years old. This company was kind of my first client, first major client. It had very different activities at that moment, so this transition happened much later. And around 2016, I fully joined this group of companies and took different roles, and currently working with microbiological stuff mostly.
Inspiring.
So my suggestion and my conclusion would be, especially for young people, just to incorporate yourself in as many NGOs as possible and to find the best and most interesting ones, because network and experience which comes from that basically are significantly more important than, for example, your education and formal education. So this is my main message.
Thank you, Jonas. Thank you, very inspiring. And now we will give the floor to Sarah. We're moving to a different perspective. So from an authority point of view, a municipality, and what kind of programs and projects you can implement to promote sustainability and youth engagement. So Sarah, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Oh, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you for inviting me. Very interesting to hear Jonas about this, your technique. I am the head of the diet unit in Södertälje Municipality, which means that I have the overall responsibility for all the school meals and the meals to the elder people in the municipality, but also to a neighbor municipality that is called Gnesta. So we serve around together like 20,000 portions every day. And the Södertälje municipality has been working with trying to increase sustainable food production and consumption since the beginning of 2000, actually. So we started by buying or demanding organically produced food to the school restaurants and the elderly care restaurants. So that's how it started. And it was a political decision. And since then, we have also been working with a number of activities, development projects to support sustainable food production and consumption. Our fundament in our work, our definition of sustainability is a concept that we call Diet for a Green Planet, that we invented in a former research project in cooperation with researchers and farmers around the whole Baltic Sea. And it's basically, it's like 5 core criteria, which says, and they are equal, and they are like the food, the menus, the thing that you're eating should be tasty and healthy. The raw materials that you use should be organically produced, and the food should be locally produced by season, and you should build your diet on vegetables, so mainly use vegetables, whole grains and legumes, and last but not least, trying to reduce waste in the whole chain. So that is how we work in the school restaurants, and also in our development projects. Since 2015, we have had this development node called Matlust. Matlust, it's focusing on the food sector in the Stockholm region. So it's a regional node, but we cooperate with the other regions and both on a national and transnational level. And we focus on supporting small and medium enterprises in the food sector. We have these development programs that are financed mainly by EU funding. So they are free of charge for the enterprises in sustainability, business development, innovation, and also the lean method. And the Matlust node is a cooperation between the Södertälje municipality and Scania. It's a huge truck producer that are situated in Södertälje, and also AstraZeneca that produces pills. And we also
I guess we're all familiar with that by now. I don't know that name.
Yes, you are, of course. But also KTH and Stockholm's Resilience Center, the Stockholm's University. So they are our partners for the moment, and we work very close to the Stockholm Region Council and the County Council. And together with them, we have this food innovation contest that any enterprises in Stockholm region could join, where you should have like a new product, and the product should be the raw material should be possible to grow in Stockholm region. And we have a number of workshops, events. Today we have most of it for the moment are of course digital, but today we have about crowdfunding. It's a cooperation with a retail store in Denmark. So it's actually, I think it starts at 11, I think. But so I think that this is a great opportunity for you who listen to join our events, because they are free of charge, and many of them you can join even though you don't work with food.
So maybe I can interrupt you there. I mean, yeah. I'm seeing many directions in which from a municipal or authority point of view, you have some kind of leverage to drive change. One of the things you mentioned is basically by simply controlling how many meals people are going to eat. I mean, through this public education sector, you have so many schools and so many people eating. Simply by deciding what kind of food that should be, you have a huge capacity of influencing that, if I understood correctly there. And you're also elaborating now on basically how through collaboration with all of these different actors and levels, and region and national level, you can coordinate action. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit on this governance aspect and how this position allows you to have a widespread effect, so to say.
Yeah, because of I mean, the municipality should take responsibility for a certain level of self-sufficiency when it comes to food for the citizens. And today we have this situation in Stockholm region where it's almost nothing if you compare to the level of citizens, because a lot of people live here, but there are not so much food production. Actually, not in. We have in processing some, but when it comes to the primary production, we grow a lot of grains, but hardly like vegetables. It's very small scale of vegetables, fruits, and meat as well. If you compare how many people who live here, So that is a huge responsibility, both for the municipality, but also the region, because they are responsible for the development questions when it comes to the countryside. And as I said, the county council, they are also, I mean, they are the authority, and they have these regulations connected to primary production and also development questions. That when it comes to us, for example, like what you can do, what a municipality could do, you could form strategies, you could form policies that create conditions to increase the production in the whole chain. Because we have, for example, we are responsible for this like so-called overview plan for the city, and it decides where you should do what, where you should grow, where you should live, where you should explore, and so on and so on. So that is on the municipal level. So it's very important that the politicians in the municipality have create these conditions and make it possible to grow, to start with. And also the infrastructure is also very dependent of the municipality and the regulations connected to
in Sweden we have a very high average age for farmers, like nearly 60 years old.
Yeah.
And so what's happening there? Is there some problem with regulations, with incentives, or why is it very few young people getting into farming or into this kind of activities? What do you see from your experience?
Well, I think because this has been going on this trend, like youth people don't want to work with food, and specifically not like the primary production. In Sweden, there are like, if you're becoming a farmer, it's like your father or your mother is a farmer, and then you continue with the business. But also it's in Sweden the food is so it's so cheap, so it costs more than what it actually. If we should increase the vegetables production here in Sweden, the prices must rise, because otherwise people won't get salaries enough to make their living. So we have this problem today that we import a lot of food from other countries where the salaries are lower, and also the regulations when it comes to environmental aspects, the animal welfare, so on, are not as high as in Sweden. So that is, I mean, there are youth people today here in Södertälje that they want to start their business in vegetable, like professional vegetable cultivator, but the existing cultivators, they don't have enough money to hire. So that is a huge problem.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sarah. We'll come back with some more discussion.
Yeah.
We'll have to cross the Baltic Sea again, this time to Finland. So we welcome Mari to the floor, and maybe it's a good transition, because we can speak about, well, what have been some of the issues in getting young people engaged, and maybe daring to become entrepreneurs, or daring to be engaged. So it's very interesting to hear from your work with the Junior Achievement Program. So please tell us what these are and how you operate.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm really glad that we got invited. My name is Mari, and I work for the Junior Achievement Finland. We are a part of the international Junior Achievement Europe, as well as Junior Achievement World. And as far as I know, and I do know actually that at least in Norway, Lithuania, and Sweden, of the participating countries here today, you have your respective Junior Achievement companies or organizations in your countries. what we do is we focus on promoting entrepreneurial skills, financial literacy, and work readiness for young people. So entrepreneurial skills, not only as skills for setting up businesses, but also the entrepreneurial attitudes of young people. We aim to improve those. I've been working for Junior Achievement Finland for a little over a year now. I have a lengthy career as a teacher, and during my many years of teaching, I always also included the entrepreneurial aspect. And I did a lot of courses on entrepreneurship. I found that it was really motivating for the young people. And that's how, when I got a chance, I thought that I could probably give more to many more young people than just my students in my schools. So that's how I got into working with the Junior Achievement Finland.
So to exemplify it to all of us, how do you operate? In what ways do you approach the young people?
Okay, we provide material that is free for all of the teachers, all of the schools, all of the school children in Finland. We have sort of what we call an entrepreneurial path. We have different programs that our pedagogical team works on. We have programs for preschoolers, then elementary school children, for junior high age students, high school students, and all the way up to university level. So we also have university programs and startup programs that have been created by our pedagogical team together with a group of teachers. We consult teachers and students all the time. Also, we work with many companies and representatives of municipalities. So we get that company perspective from them. Also, investors are partners with us. So we provide teachers with lots of different programs for different aspects of entrepreneurial skills or financial literacy or work readiness that they can use in schools. And the materials include everything, and they are really easy to use, step-by-step manuals. And so they're really popular with teachers, and also as they're free of charge, municipalities and schools like them too. We also train teachers. We provide inspirational days and lots of insight into different perspectives of entrepreneurship. And also we have special days for students to participate in, to make it more fun, to be able to create networks, meet other young people that are into entrepreneurship or circular economy or what it is that they're interested in. So we kind of work there in the middle, trying to promote all of these good things to happen. And we have what we call camps or programs. Our latest is an innovation camp. So it's more about the innovation process and teaching the young people about how to innovate, and then how to take the next step once they have an idea what to do next, where to find help and things like that.
Very interesting. I think entrepreneurship is quite foreign for many, or even seems a bit threatening, like how really like scary how to get into it. So to develop this culture of entrepreneurship, or some at least provide some basis, it's a very interesting approach. But as you say, you create these systems of mentors and so on. But once anyone would like to go to the next phase, that's something else, right? You provide these basics, but if what happens next, so to say?
We have a network. We train mentors from different sectors of municipalities and entrepreneurs. But we train mentors to help young entrepreneurs, and so we have like a list of people and companies that the young people can contact whenever they feel that they need more support than what they can get in school. We have created a network of help, eager people and companies that are willing to give to the young people. And also, I think it is really motivating for the youngsters to know that there are actual entrepreneurs, adults that are interested in what I'm doing. So that gives them a sense of accomplishment, and they feel that they can be a part of the bigger picture, and what they do matters. So I think that is an essential thing about how to get the young people involved. And once they are, we have found that they spread the word really eagerly. We also have an alumni network. So a lot of the young people that have experienced our programs in schools, they like to come back to us and give back, as to say. So alumni, teachers can call us and have an alumni come to their school and talk to the kids. And it is often more inspiring and more motivating to hear about this from a young person who has experience on this than it would be to hear it from a teacher.
Yeah.
So.
And when you meet a lot of young entrepreneurs, like what is your observation about their interest, like whether it rises or not towards the circular economy? Like, do you see this interest in a changing behavior or trends in how to do business?
Definitely we do. Like Marina and Ole said, that you should give young people a chance. They said that the old people that are working, they're often used to doing things a certain way, and I think that's the beauty of having young people involved, is that they are not set in the old ways. So they're open to doing things differently, and that is the thing that makes the change. Circular economy has become a really important factor for especially young people and young entrepreneurs, and that is our fourth main thing with the entrepreneurial skills and the financial literacy, work readiness, and then circular economy, because we aim to sustainability, and all of our programs include the element of sustainability. It can be even a theme of an entrepreneurial project or a program, but even if it was not a theme, it still has the underlying entrepreneurial circular economy aspect in it. And we also provide teachers with extra material on circular economy, for using in classrooms. We work together with Citra, that has created the 5 circular economy business models. And once we educate teachers and students about those, you can just see the light bulbs lighting up in above everybody's head, like, yeah, that's actually a good idea. Circular economy. And like Yuna said, we combine also the ecological and the economical aspect.
Fantastic, Mari. Please stay with us. This is an excellent transition to bring this discussion to the table. So if Daniel can help us put all the speakers on the spotlight, and maybe we can debate a little bit more about the same topic. What is really those elements that trigger people to get engaged, to do something about the circular economy or green economy, so to say.
And we have a question. It was initially dedicated to Loopfront, but I think it applies to all of the participants of this discussion. Is that would you say that young entrepreneurs are more engaged in circular projects as they start business already with a new mindset and this kind of thoughts for the future, or there's no point of doing business differently already at this point, and that even the old kind of people, old mindset people, they are more open for a new change in the older economies. What would be your opinion? Maybe we could start with Ole and Marina first, but it would be interesting to hear from all the other participants as well, whether it's you need to come with this mindset or there is a lot of space for change.
I don't think I caught the whole question there, but yeah, I think definitely that you need to come with the kind of mindset that you want to come with the change. Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if I caught the whole question.
So the question was whether young entrepreneurs, that young entrepreneurs are more likely to engage in a circular economy if they come with a new mindset, or whether it has to be this transition for a change.
You grow into the role, so to say. Yeah. Maybe Jonas also has an experience there, because maybe
I'm not fully sure that there is a link between the age and the transaction. Maybe that as I said, there are 3 layers, and I heard the same thing from other participants. It's economical intensive, it's philosophical intensive, just to save the planet, kind of broadly speaking, and then it's legal push from top to bottom. So both legal and economical points are applied for whatever age you are, and only maybe that philosophical about the nature thing is sometimes more seen in the younger generation, but it's all of us responsibility. Like, only young people cannot make this transaction. It would be significantly too slow.
Anyone else has a comment related to this? Is there space to generate awareness and change your mindset on the way, so to say? Because I mean, in several sectors, you also mentioned, Jonas, from I mean, the policy can be a driver, so it's not necessarily motivation, and it make sense economically. Also, from the perspective of Loopfront, it may save a lot of money to companies, so they don't necessarily care, or we hope that they do, but they might also be incented to do this transition because it makes financial sense for them.
And there's also another question coming back to the first presentation of Loopfront about that it seems that there's a big demand on the players that you're also active in several countries at the moment. And do you also consider dealing with how to transport the components, like from the site place, I guess, to the waste management spots?
Yeah, definitely. So there are a couple of concerns here. Like, for now, we've been mainly concerned with helping organizations handle their building materials and furniture inside their own company. because there's a lot of economic and environmental gain just within the company. And there have also been some barriers for selling building materials from one company to another because of, it's building materials need to be a certain standard and stuff like that. So it has been a little bit tricky to deal with that. But transportation is definitely something that we're looking into and building our service around, so that that will be possible when we're there.
Yeah, and also the more companies that are involved in reusing the materials, then it's easier to find someone who's nearby. So it's shorter distances for transporting the materials.
We have maybe some other 15 minutes of time, so I would like to maybe bring another question to all of you. That is, of course, when we're talking about this sustainability trend, we're talking about a transition, about disrupting a system that we have to implement a new one. So it definitely involves a shift, a change. So if from your different experiences from all of you panelists, what would be kind of your key message to newcomers, well, we spoke about young people, but not only young people who are entering, who might want to enter this change, like what kind of attitudes, what kind of tips would you suggest? I don't know if anyone volunteers first to comment on that.
Mari.
Mari, yes, please.
I raised my hand. First of all, I think that this should be the educating about a circular economy should be started as early as possible. That way there doesn't have to be a transition. We have an example of the town of Lappeenranta in Finland. They have started providing their 5th graders entrepreneurial education based on circular economy. And they have done that for all of the 5th graders for 3 years in a row already. And there are significant results to be seen already. And as it happens, the children educate their parents. Once they learn this in school, this is what you do, this is how you recycle, and this is how you protect the environment, and about the circular economy, they will not have their parents do things differently at home. So this is kind of a good approach, I think. And also the young people are so accustomed to it. They don't, even have to think about, oh, I'm going to change something, but they live there the way they've been taught from early on. I just say, go for it. I think this is a great chance for municipalities to really engage people. When you engage the young people, you can contact your junior achievement or, circular economy entrepreneurs if you want a partner. And I think it's good to do it with a partner, but you're changing the attitudes of people. And once the young people see that what they do really does matter and is valued, it will, make them try even more and spread the word.
So building these attitudes from early age, and
like building a tribe.
A tribe, yes. And this connects to what you said, Jonas, earlier about being engaged in NGOs, being engaged in networks. So the importance of networks. Could you maybe elaborate on that, Jonas? I mean, for you, how important that being part of something influence you to become more proactive, so to say?
Our surroundings are always the main thing which influence your behavior. So I completely agree with the approach Mari just told, and we need to keep this traction, and I believe that we do not have such a big problem, especially in Europe, with young generation and their approach to recycling. Not recycling is more like an exception than most of Europe at the moment. So maybe the wider challenge for us would be somehow this international links with international community to transfer this message even broader, because like if any of you have seen, for example, some South Asia countries and their behavior, so you understand that we are in a very good position here in Europe. So yeah, like looking globally and be somehow one or another way with policies, with CO2 customs on the border, with logical transfers, with international communication, with all measures what we can do. We need to somehow scale up this approach worldwide, because Europe is already not so big problem in globally, and we kind of solved a lot of things already. So this approach has to be exported outside of Europe.
Smart. So the mentality is more or less there. It's more about, well, how do we do it? And this is perhaps also some of the learnings we can take away from today. I don't know if Daniel had prepared for us another Menti question of what are the takeaways for today, but maybe this is something we can all start thinking about, what kind of recommendations we can give to people. So everyone is welcome to speak up as well. Or simply write it down in the Menti. What are your main insights of today, or recommendations, so to say, for us, for policymakers? Let's see what you think, the audience. Well, at least someone is optimistic. There are opportunities. How do we exploit them? That's the question. Anyone, you're also welcome to speak up from the panel. I mean, if you had some quick suggestions, where should we move on?
From my perspective, a lot of young people, our innovation program, Start a Business, a small business, attracts a lot of young people, and they really, I think that is one of the most important factors that attract young youth people, that they should feel like that they're working with the, like something that makes good, but also is like a high quality. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in working in food sector, then I think you should visit our homepage actually to see if there's something in it for you, because we need young people in the business.
Please share it in the chat for everyone, so everyone could find this.
I have one in English as well. I will.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and very inspiring as well to see. I mean, how from a municipality, how things can happen if there is the drive, so to say. So other actors in society can just propose. Why not just propose ideas? And more people think that there should be more discussions about this, continue this.
I very much agree with what Sarah says as well, and I think especially for young people, the risk for trying to start something on your own, it's not very big in my opinion. Just trying out something, seeing if it works for you, if you are motivated to do it. I think the worst thing that can happen is that you just learn some things along the way, and you'll be better prepared for life, or working life at least, if it doesn't go well. And if it goes well, then that's it can go really well as well if you try to start something on your own. So yeah, I think people think there's more risk to it than it really is.
That's the real entrepreneurial spirit, not being worried to fail. Fail is part of the process, so to say. But it resonates with a comment here in the Menti that you don't have to be overly experienced to get into a field, and that's probably something to stop the fear from being an entrepreneur and do things. Just trial and error. Very interesting.
Maybe I add to that. It comes more from my perspective, but it's this trend especially got into the spotlight during the COVID. It's we are in the new transformation, like the transformation of IT technologies kind of are already peaking, and it's going as it is. But we are in the beginning of biotech transformation, and these new vaccines, mRNA type vaccines, and all new genetically advanced biotechnologies, which are basically connecting IT technologies and basic programming with biotech, which is becoming also basically programming, just programming the biotechnological language, are interconnecting, and we are in the very beginning of this transaction, and it will be the new big thing, like for 10, 20, 30 years from now, and young people can really jump into that, and there will be a lot of money, companies, ideas, and revolutions generated in this field. And we are, at the moment, we see just the very, very small part of that.
So we can expect a lot of change in the years to come. That's your message, so to say.
Yes, and in biotech, it will be especially seen. It will be the most transformative area in the upcoming years, for sure.
Interesting. Thank you everyone in the panel. It's been a very lively discussion, interesting and very enlightening to hear from all these different perspectives. So thank you very much, all of you. I don't know if there is any final comment from everyone who would like to say, or in the audience, if anyone wants to raise their hand, you're welcome to do now. And we're closing slowly, but we still can debate if anyone has any comments, questions. Please raise them up.
Otherwise, I guess we can give Daniel the final words.
Yeah, Daniel, you can.
All right. Well, I don't have much to say. Just thanks all. The webinar, the panel discussion is recorded, and also we will download the results from Menti. But I'm sure where we will document it, Alberto and Vaida. Will it be sent out, or?
We can share the main links and the main ideas, I guess, to participants. Yes.
Great, perfect.
And it's worth to say that this, BeUBio Project and this it's meant to be a network, and we're always open. The doors are open if you want to contact us, if you want to talk to us, discuss. This is the whole idea. We want to stimulate discussion. So just feel welcome to approach us at any time.
Great. So we'll end it there then. Thank you all.
Thank you all very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.